Not a bad little chip. And in this lesson, I'm going to give you my 3 top tips for chipping to make sure you can be chipping it stone dead next time you're out on the golf course. Let's take a look at this lesson. So my first bit of advice, if we found ourselves by the side of the greens here, and we found our ball in a lie like this, where once we put the club in, it almost looks like it's on a T-peg, we would be delighted by that because we've got that big buffer of the ground to let the club slide through. But I'm going to talk to you about a lie, something like this, where even just a yard or 2 away doesn't look the most glamorous compared to what we just saw over there when the club's in behind it, not much grass, popping the ball up there. And that for some people would really start to scare them. But what I want you to do when you get into a position like this, we can help, get the club to help us when we're in this position by literally just raising the handle. So once I take my setup here, instead of addressing the ball like I would do normally and seeing that the toe of the club is slightly up in the air, what I want to try and do is raise the handle now so the shaft goes more vertical and see that the toe of the club is actually in the ground. The reason for doing this is the heel of the club here is quite sharp, and if that digs into the ground, it's going to catch it, stop it, flip it, and we'll get a lot of duffs going on. If we get the toe in the ground slightly, we actually raise that heel off and we get the bounce brushing the ground a little bit more. So that should give us a little bit of help. So if I ever find myself where I'm not comfortable with the lie and it's somewhere around here, all I do is raise that raise that heel off the ground by bringing the handle up and just feel that I'm getting the toe to touch the ground now as I go through it. So let's give that a go. Normal setup, weight forwards, toe in the ground. And even there, off that bit of a dodgy lie, lovely little strike, trickles out, pin high, 6 feet. So if you've got a bit of a dodgy lie around the greens, and this goes if you're off really tight turf as well, if you're struggling with those and you get a bit nervous, let the club help you. Get the toe into the ground a little bit and get that bounce brushing a little bit more as we go through. So the second tip, I'm going to use these canes here as a bit of an analogy for us. What we want to try and do, a lot of people that I see when chipping, we almost try and help the golf ball up too much. We try and dig it down. One of the old problems, if we just see from this angle here, was that we got the ball right in the back of my stance, and I would chop down on it to get that backspin, or vice versa. Like I say, a lot of people, especially in this situation where there's a bunker in front of us, would try and help the golf ball up over there. So in both scenarios, the club isn't spending much time riding the turf, as I would call it. If we were to watch pros on TV, what we would see from the real slow-mo cameras, and even when they're having the practice swings, if we just come in close here, we might hear this better. When they're having their practice swings, they're really focusing on getting this nice little brush, and as we can see there, that divot that's popping up, or that bruising of the turf, is about the width of this black tape on my alignment canes here. So my next top tip I want you to try and work on, when you're out chipping, if we think of the sole of the club here now where the bounce is, I want you to imagine that you're wiping that across the floor for a little bit longer. So instead of stabbing down or lifting and not having much interaction, just focus on that little graze, and like I say, it's going to be about as long as this piece of tape here. If I can just feel that I get that in my practice swings, and then I bring a ball in and try and focus on getting that nice little sweep and graze along the floor with my toe down, what we should see, even if there wasn't my best strike, I've still got away with it. The ball's gone out and it's gone up onto the green. If I would have got that one where I was too steep on it or trying to help it up, chances are I would have been out here in that bunker. Let's have a look at my third top chipping tip. So guys, before we look at that third top chipping tip, what I want you to do is hit the subscribe button down below. Reason I want you to do that, I want you to get better at golf, and you're going to do that by getting your free lessons with me every week here on the channel. So get down below, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification, and let's go and look at tip number 3. And it involves this supremely clean towel here, and what we're going to do, we're going to have a wander up onto the green, because what a lot of people would do, as we can see where my ball is there now, I've got this to come over, this bunker. I'm going up onto the green, and I've got a fair bit of distance as I get up towards that flag. So what a lot of people would do would either focus solely on the flag or focus solely on the trouble or even the lie the ball is in, worrying about that too much. They forget to think about where they were landing the golf ball. If I were to just grab this one for when I demonstrate, what I want to try and do, I'm going to use this towel as my landing spot. We've got to think of where the ball is going to land when I hit this next shot in. So I'm saying from where my ball is back down there, I'm trying to land it somewhere up near this towel. As long as it's in the region of this towel, once it takes its bounces and release, it should get close to the flag. I don't have to worry about the flag too much, because if we just wander back down here now and I demonstrate with a throw, what I wouldn't try and do when I was there throwing this golf ball is throw it all the way into the hole. It's pretty hard, that, you know, the hole's 4.5 inches or whatever it is, and that ball's small. I would just try and throw it out onto the green to let it roll out to my target. So from here where my ball is, what I would do would think of where my towel is up there now, throw it out towards the towel, off it goes, and that one has rolled up to about 6 feet. So when I get down here into my chipping, what I want to do is have that toe down into the ground. I want to think about brushing the turf a little bit, and as I'm doing it, just focusing the whole time on where I want to land this golf ball. So I'm getting confident, I can feel what the shot is, I know how far it's going to travel, and if you've watched my other videos talking about controlling your distance, this will make sense. But once I'm here now, I've taken my setup, I've raised the handle, I know how my strike's going to go because I've had that little brushing feeling, and all I'm focusing on is landing this ball on the towel, and we should see it gets pretty close to that flag. So just a little bit too far, but the ball's gone running by about 5 feet there, and I would say I probably flew it 6 or 7 feet past the flag, past my towel there. So those are my 3 top chipping chips. If you can work on those 3 things, you should see that chipping around the greens doesn't become an issue for you. So work on that setup, getting the toe down into the ground a little bit more. Think about grazing the turf, not stabbing at it, and then focus on your landing spot. Don't focus on the trouble or how bad your lie is. Think about where that ball's going to land and react, and from there you should be closer to the hole each time. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video this week. If you have, do remember to hit that subscribe button like I said earlier. Turn on the bell notification so you don't miss any future lessons. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in your next lesson.